really happy for Tanya. And, you know, our history goes back. I remember I went to Creighton basketball camps, and she was starring, and great player, obviously, from Des Moines, Lincoln. You know, her and Connie Yori, Ankeny, they're kind of iconic in the state, iconic at Creighton. And so it's just really, really cool to see an Iowa girl etch herself in the record books, and I just want to publicly congrats to Tanya.
Kyle, go ahead. Slow start to the game there. UNI, it seemed like every single possession was going down to 5-10 seconds on the shot clock, and that kind of slowed the game down early. Just what was it like for the team trying to traverse
Yeah,
that early?
I think that was, I have to talk to Tanya and Brad, but I think that's what they were probably trying to do, is get it to, you know, 10-second offensive opportunity to kind of slow down our break, because that's, you know, what we'd like to have done. And so the positive for us is that's the first time we've seen that, and we obviously didn't handle it, right? It may not be the first time that we see that. So I think, you know, we were a little flat to come out. I think that might have stymied us. You know, and I was a little, as a coach, you're always a little concerned about that first road trip. We do have 9 new people, and you're trying to explain what the road's gonna feel like, trying to tell them what's your routine gonna be. And I just felt like we just looked a little sluggish. Credit to UNI at the beginning. But I feel like, you know, our offense just wasn't there, but our defense certainly held. The first half was 15, was it? I don't know, something. But I just think that I'm thankful when our offense was a little sluggish that we did have our defense going. But I think it'll be a good learning for us, because obviously now we go on the road for 2 really tough road games. Thankful it's at a neutral site.
Jeff? The narrative when Chitchat came here was pass first. I think that, you know, that was said more than once. And she's kind of debunking that narrative now. Being, aggressive offensively, looking for a shot.
Yeah.
How much of a bonus is that?
It's huge, because when I watched her tape during that portal recruiting process, I mean, her quick release and the little ones, right? They have to counter, and if you can tell their consistency and her IQ, and you know, she played on a team. Kara Dunn was her teammate. She's now at USC. They have some pretty good players, and Georgia Tech really had a great climb underneath the great Nell Fortner, and she just got out because of the shenanigans of the rev share, right? Those Hall of Fame coaches that just get to the point of like, so that's why we benefited. But I think what you saw today is Chitchat. That was a big step. That was my brightest spot, is because everything else was tough sledding. So Chat was like, said, okay, all right, I got it. I feel like, you know, she probably could have had a number 10, easy. But she was trying to do the system, but then just kind of knew we were a little sluggish. So I thought that was a great big growth step. I thought the other positive is, you know, you can have a flat performance but still win soundly, right? And so I think that's great. I didn't wish we weren't so flat. I wish it would have been a little prettier to watch. But if you look back at my opening press conference, I was talking to myself. I think patience is going to rule the day. We see some growth, and then we kind of stymie. I think also what you saw today was, you know, we have depth, but you're trying to get everybody experience and trying to plug in and give them minutes with no pressure. And sometimes you're going, but you need the pressure. So I think it's just a continuing growing step, but certainly pleased with, you know, our defense.
Dargan?
It was the bench, I think, had 11 of the final 13 points in the first quarter, and was really the group that got you out of that funk. Just how much is everybody buying into the depth and, you know, the ability to kind of have different matchups and different people come in at different times?
Well, you know, I think for the most part they are. I do. I think that'll be a big ticket of who we want to be, right? Because it's a little bit different, right? You're able to, if it's not your day, right? If you're pick up a couple quick fouls, is the energy of which you transfer that baton, right? And I do think that this team is really good at that. I think this team's human. You know, you're frustrated, you pick up a couple fouls. You're frustrated, you miss 2 or 3 bunnies. And then you're kind of got a comfortable lead. So the feelings don't always, it's just not always as lighthearted as you want it, right? Because if you have a tough day, you're smiling, but deep down you just want to redo, right? But I do think this team is buying into that. And I think any team, as they're forming, the ticket of that, whether you're got a top 6 or 7 or you got a top 10, is that role acceptance and then thriving in those roles. And I love what I've been seeing. But certainly the season is young, but I know these kids love each other a whole lot.
Angie and then Zach.
Yeah, you talked about Tanya and her longevity and breaking the record. So between Tanya and you and Lisa and Bill and Allison, you're all native Iowans.
Yeah,
You've
pretty
all
cool.
all been in your jobs for a long time.
Uh-huh.
What does that say about Iowa, or women's basketball in Iowa?
Well, I just think we have a lot of great universities, right? I mean, even the smaller colleges, quite frankly, that have some good players that go to the state tournament. They just aren't playing at a Power 4 or a smaller college like UNI and Drake, but they're really good. And I think what you're seeing, like Drake and UNI are definitely rebuilding. I mean, you can't take a Maya McDermott and a Dennebeer out of the lineup and not have to develop for a little bit. But their actions, I mean, UNI is probably, they're going to look at the film and say, man, if we made some of those, you know, that margin of victory wasn't quite as great, right? But I just think this state supports women's basketball so well. We have really good high school coaches. You know, I just feel so blessed to be coaching in Iowa because of the fan support and interest, right? So I think that says why everybody's at their jobs is we love where we are and we want to continue being where we are.
Last one, Zach.
Jan, going back to Chitchat, she was in here talking about what a gym rat she is and how she looks forward to engaging with the process to get better from a coaching standpoint. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have a kid that's coming from the outside and, you know, she's just always in the gym, she's just showing how it's done, right? You know, it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure most programs across the country, your youth doesn't know what it doesn't know until they get here, right? And so I always encourage our upperclassmen, like who you're bringing to the gym with you, right? I did that way back with Caitlin Clark. It's like they get all those shots up, but you can't go alone. And I think, you know, Chitchat is that gym rat. So the next evolution is to make sure all the rest of them are going too, because you think about it, most high school programs don't practice 3 hours a day, maybe 2.5, some do, but you're practicing 3 hours and then they're studying, and you're also asking them to, you know, put in the overtime, because if you really want to get there, right, it probably takes more than 9 to 5. And it's really great when you have a kid like Chitchat who's selfless, pass first, and is in the gym, and I watch her and I'm like, we got to get this kid shooting the ball, because you saw the consistency of it. And so I think if we can continue to use her mindset, get her louder, and get the confidence a little built up, the consistency of the other new people. You know, I've always said it might be like this a little bit with this team, but if we can get there with, you know, passing that baton and keeping our confidence and our kind of our aggressiveness, I think this team, you know, has the potential to have some fun.
Thanks, Jan.